to the Purple Event wine tasting. This is Maureen Sample, and I'm Eileen Hargraves. We're co-chairs of the Purple Event this year, and we would like to introduce Krista and Ed from Joe's Fine Wine and Spirits in East Windsor, and thank them for providing us with this lovely wine demonstration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to go through 4 wines today. We're going to start on the left with our sparkling. This is a French sparkling, Simone Fèvre. It is a Cremant de Bourgogne. It's a brut meaning dry, sort of the classic style of sparkling wine. Cremant de Bourgogne, a little bit different from Champagne. I think everybody kind of knows by now that the Champagne can't be called Champagne unless it comes from Champagne, the region. But if you go directly south and you go towards Burgundy, this is their sparkling wine. This is Cremant de Bourgogne, which is Cremant from Burgundy. And it's actually made, yep, you can pick up your glass anytime you like. Get a little bit of the nose. It is made exactly the same way as Champagne. And they're actually using the same grapes you would use in Champagne. You're using Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. So, sort of classic, little toasty bread kind of on the nose. Great little sparkling. It has a little bit of, fine bubble to it, just as you would expect from a good sparkling.
And great value.
I almost taste strawberries.
Mm-hmm. You will get some berry fruit in there. Yeah, these are typically when you go outside of the Champagne region to these Cremants, great value. The price point is going to be much, much lower. You're still getting a fine wine. And all the things that you would do with Champagne. Have it as an aperitif, pair it up with a salad. I think if you ask any professional somm what their favorite pairing for Champagne is, it's French fries, because that is the best pairing for Champagne. So yeah, this is just a classic Champagne style, everything you would expect from Champagne, just at a much lower price point.
How is it stored? Is it stored in oak?
They do some barrel aging. It's typically not as long as Champagne, and it's usually neutral barrel, so you're not getting a ton of oak on there. It's usually fairly light style, but made exactly the same way, so they're doing it in the bottle first and then re-fermenting inside the bottle. So, yep.
Very good.
It's excellent, yeah.
It's delightful.
Little apple, like you said, a little berry fruit to it. Yep.
Good with chocolate too.
Yeah.
Yep. Champagne and chocolate, always great.
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent. Yeah.
All right.
Next.
So your next wine is Honig Sauvignon Blanc. It's just a great California Sauvignon Blanc. It gives you everything that you're looking for. You get the citrus, you get lemon, you get white grapefruit. It is probably one of the best, in my opinion, well-balanced California Sauvignon Blancs. They're a tremendously wonderful vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
They basically take what they do very seriously without being too serious. They are very conscious about having a very small carbon footprint. Anything they can do, from making their corks different to the smaller thickness of their glass, anything they can do, they are very interested in doing. So they're very, pro making great wine and making sure that we stick around to make sure we all drink it as well.
I noticed it's very light. Would you consider this a light-bodied wine or a medium?
I think it's light to medium.
Light to medium?
Yeah, it's on the lighter side. Sauvignon Blanc tends to
What
be.
would you pair this with? Would you pair it with like a seafood dish or chicken?
You could do seafood, you could do chicken, you could do vegetarian, you could do poultry. There's actually, this really lends well to almost everything.
Yeah, seafood for sure.
What about making like a homemade sangria over the summer? Or
Well, that's probably one of the best questions, because I think people have a one-track what sangria means to them.
Yep.
And sangria can be all year round.
Mm-hmm.
It could be red, it can be white. The main ingredient, as far as the liquor is concerned, can be many things, not just a brandy along with the wine. It could be tequila, it could be a lot of different things. It could be so much fun. So yes, Sauvignon Blancs, fantastic for the wine. Pinot Grigios as well.
I think
Spanish
also
wines,
like
everything.
Spanish wine for sure. And that's kind of the classic, red or white. Honig, I think, is actually a really great one to do a sangria with as far as Sauvignon Blanc goes.
Yep.
Sauvignon Blanc from California, a little bit different from Sauvignon Blanc that you're used to from like the famous New Zealand
Right.
style. New Zealand tends to be really
Really grapefruity.
tart, grapefruit, a little grassy. California tends to be a little bit softer, a little bit more fruit forward, a little bit more like apricot kind of things going on there. So for sangria, it's perfect.
So I have to say, I do have a lot of friends who prefer red versus white
Mhm.
because they talk about sulfites and they talk about
Yep.
getting a headache.
Yep.
Is this type of wine that would have less sulfites?
It can,
Yeah.
usually if somebody's looking for low sulfites or no sulfites. French wines tend to typically have lower sulfites, but there are now a lot of organic wines, which that category alone is becoming huge,
Huge.
which is amazingly wonderful. So you will find on labels, no sulfites added, which has been a heaven sent to a lot of people who do have a reaction to them.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
either you can
I'm
go
glad I asked,
to
yeah.
your French section at your favorite liquor store, or you can really look at a really good organic section where they literally will tell you this has no
No
sulfites
sulfites
added.
What does it do to the taste, though?
It's really, it's a preservative,
Yeah,
so it gives it shelf life.
yeah.
So it's not really interfering too much with your flavor. Which
No,
is
if you're buying wine that is well-made and it's not been sitting on the shelf forever,
Right.
you're still gonna get a fresh one. You don't need the preservatives in there.
just
Unless
check
it's
the
something
vintage.
that's going for a long,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's the thing, it's, you're gonna find less in whites in general. There are more preservatives in red wines just because of the breakdown of it. It just tends to break down
So
a lot
technically
more.
speaking, white wine is actually healthier for you.
It's gonna be definitely more low sulfite.
As far as the sulfite question
As
is
far as the
concerned,
sulfite.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know with the reaction that I get, it comes primarily from the red wines. I don't
Yeah.
notice it as much with the white.
Red wines typically will have more sulfites added. They'll also have more natural sulfites because it is a natural thing in wine to begin with, unfortunately. They also have more histamines, which is another thing that a lot of people
Red
have
wine has
allergic.
histamines?
Yeah, it's naturally in the grape
Wow,
skin.
that's, I
So
did not
sometimes
know
just
that.
taking an antihistamine before drinking red wine will actually kind of tamp down that little bit of, yeah, because they're in the grape skin and there's just no way to get rid of it, so, yep, yep.
And typically, from my experiences, the white wines are made to drink, like
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Where reds you can keep longer.
There's a
Now-
little asterisk there.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
There are some really, really well-made, like Chardonnays and stuff that really actually
Rieslings.
can. Like
Okay.
Rieslings, yes, that can stay in the bottle.
Is that because of the sugar content?
For some,
It
yes.
can be.
Yeah, yeah. It's complex. It has a lot to do with the acidity in the wine, the sugar
Okay.
content in the wine. Typically, Riesling has a lot of huge range. Some can be bone dry, some are obviously
Very, very
quite
sweet, yes.
Yeah, but the sweeter ones can age for 40, 50 years.
Kinda like an ice wine.
Chardonnay is the same.
Like an ice wine?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. All right.
Ready for the next one?
Cheers.
All right. So we have the Palm. This is from Whispering Angel, and this is a Provence style rosé, which rosé in general as a category over the past couple of years has been booming. And this typical style has become a favorite. So basically the idea is you get really good fruit coming forward and then a nice drier finish.
Yep.
So it's not candy sweet or anything like that. So I know a lot of people sometimes will come into a store and say, rosé, I'm not interested. I don't like sweet, sweet wines. This is not that. And I think people are starting to understand there's different ideas about rosé and because it's really, really nice. It's almost like you get a little of that natural sweet from the fruit, so that kind of gets, that box checked, but then you get that little drier finish, and then, all right, so you get a little bit.
It's very
less-
refreshing,
It is very refreshing. Sometimes there's
which
some.
can be dangerous.
Yes, very. Or, but, sometimes, depending on the style of rosé, if you do try to pair it with food, you're not gonna be healthy. You have to be very careful. The Provence style, I think, like anything made Pinot Noir wise,
Yep.
rosé, those tend to pair much better with food.
Yeah.
Like again, seafood, poultry, this is right up your alley. But if you get like one of those sweeter rosés and you try to have a burger with it, your mouth is gonna tell you, I am not a happy person. It just does not lend well. So, it depends on that style of rosé. So this has been basically the biggest hit, that Provence style. So when you look into getting a rosé,
Yeah, and this is kind of the classical style
Yes.
of rosé in the Mediterranean, in France, Spain, and Italy. It was always a dry, light style. You had a little bit more kind of fruit complexity, but still dry and light. It was California and White Zin
Right.
that started that whole sweet rosé trend. That was kind of the norm in the U.S. for many, many years. And now we've kind of figured out, like, oh wait, there's this other
we
thing.
can do it better.
Yeah. Exactly.
Different,
Yeah, it is.
depending on what you
delicious.
like.
Perfect. Any other questions on that one? All right. So lastly, we're going to go back to California. We're going to go to Sonoma. This is Gunlock Bunshu family vineyard. Yes, German family
Can you
originally.
say that again?
Gunlock Bunshu.
Gunlock Bunshu?
Yep.
Perfect.
And actually, most of the original California vineyards were either Italian or German immigrants. Some of them actually brought their own grapes with them.
What does it mean? Good?
Gunlock, it's just their name. It's the Gunlock family and the
family name.
Bunshu families. Yeah, yep.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
What we'll do
So,
is we'll bring the bottles over too.
oh yeah, so you can see. Yeah. They make some great wines. Sonoma tends to be a little bit less heavy, a little bit lighter in style than Napa. Napa's much hotter, so you get a lot more kind of dark fruit, really kind of heavy wines.
Fun thing is, Sonoma tends to be a little less expensive
Yes,
than Napa.
this also helps.
Really? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Unless you're getting some really fancy Pinots, it tends to be a little bit more on the affordable price range versus big Napa cabs. This is Cabernet Merlot. I think they might sometimes use some other grapes in there as well for
Yeah.
the blend because it's called the Mountain Cuvée. It's just sort of their field blend. So they're doing mostly Cab and Merlot, which is kind of the classical sort of red blend pairing that you would find in Bordeaux or other places.
I think I smell cherries.
Yeah, you're gonna get a
You're
lot of
definitely
cherry in
gonna
here.
get those
Yes,
red-
absolutely.
Those stone fruits, yeah.
Yep.
I appreciate wine.
Mhm.
This is very, wine is something you
Yep.
appreciate, and I feel like the more you know about it,
Yep.
it's just.
We appreciate all of you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, so definitely like cherry, plum,
Oh, plum, yeah.
and then you'll get some other like herbal kind of notes to it too, I think, which is really makes it more interesting than just like a big fruity kind of wine. You get like a little minty kind of thing going on in the aroma. But again, family-owned vineyard. They try to do everything organically. They really they don't irrigate. They're not using extra water in California. It's a
I
good
think
thing.
this would pair really well with a steak.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're not kidding.
This is your burger, your steak, your barbecue
Your barbecue,
wine,
your grilling, yeah, yeah.
or just a good wood
So
fired
like you
pizza.
were saying before
something like
with
that.
the palate, it would actually complement
Mhm.
those flavors.
Yep. Mushroom pizza, perfect. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is
it
just
wouldn't
a great
overpower it, it
wine.
would just be perfect.
Fun wine.
And is this a medium bodied wine?
I'd say medium to full.
Yeah. It's not quite a real heavy, full wine, so it's kind of on that medium plus kind of side. Yeah.
I think there's one thing for us to say, and that would be cheers.
Mhm.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you
you.
very much for
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you.
And for